G'day. I'm sitting here, Western Australia, great sandy desert at my feet here. Little town of Bullamakanka is just over there. And this is the new generation Volkswagen Touareg. Yeah, okay, I'm not in Western Australia, I'm actually in Morocco. And this is not the great sandy desert, this is actually the Sahara. But there's a good reason why I'm here. Let me explain. Now, there is a really good reason why we're in the Sahara. Trust me, there's a good reason. And the reason is because the new generation Volkswagen Touareg hasn't come out in Australia yet. It's been out overseas for a little while, but it doesn't get to Australia until mid-2019. And the way we've managed to secure a first drive of it is quite cool, actually. Volkswagen run a driving experience program which takes people out to the desert in Morocco and lets them do an off-road driving experience. And what we've done is we've basically joined the program so that we can get a, hang on, whoa, yes! So that we can get a first drive for you and let you know what it's like before it lands in Australia. Now, it's actually quite appropriate that the Touareg is being driven out here because the Touareg gets its name from the North African nomadic people who have walked these dunes for centuries. The two guys we met today earlier, one of those guys comes from a nomadic family that's been here for forever, which is pretty amazing. Now, this is day 2 of our first drive, and yesterday we travelled about 590 k's from Marrakesh to Erg, which is where we set up base last night. And yeah, I tell you what, like the different types of roads we've driven on has been amazing. It's very similar to Australia, actually. Coarse bitumen, gravel roads, dirt roads, really, really similar to Australia. And even these dunes, like these dunes could easily be in Western Australia or the Northern Territory. Now, you might never bring your Touareg to a place like this, but I'll tell you what, it's good to know you can. When the new Gen Touareg does arrive in Australia, Volkswagen will kick things off with a launch edition. It'll be a 190 TDI. That's a 190 kilowatt turbo diesel V6. Later in 2019, 2 more grades will arrive, the 170 TDI and then the 210 TDI. And another thing, all Touaregs are all-wheel drive. We'll absolutely road test those when they arrive down under. Good morning, good morning. It's still pretty early. Last night we arrived here. It's a town called Mazouga. It's on the very eastern border of Morocco, almost Algeria. Hotel we stayed at is called Casa Bicha. Yesterday we played in the dunes. Over there, you can see them off in the distance there. It's day 3 today, and our final destination is a town called Boulogne-Doudads, or as the local call it, Doodads. Now, the locals don't call it Doodads. I call it Doodads. They should call it Doodads. I asked our tour guides today exactly what we were going to experience along the way, and they said Morocco. So, let's go. Good morning and welcome to day 4 of our epic first drive of the new generation Volkswagen Touareg. Last night we arrived here. Yep, this ordinary looking place. Not really, it's amazing. It's Boulogne-Doudads, or Doudads as they call it. It sits at the base of the Atlas Mountains, which are those little mountains over there. Yesterday was our first wet day on the road. After driving the Sahara the day before, it was a completely different type of driving experience. We drove to the Porsche Cayenne, which was amazing. It was like something out of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Actually, specifically that movie, not any other Indiana Jones movie, that one. 275 Ks, For those that want to know, our fuel economy was 8.5 litres per 100. If you want more facts and figures, let's go for a little walk. I should have done this earlier, but I haven't had a chance. I've been a bit distracted by Morocco. The car, the new generation car, it looks different to the last one, and thank God the last car was ancient, it was outdated inside and out. Finally, Volkswagen have updated it with its new family styling. So the Tiguan, which arrived, it's got it, and the Passat and the Golf and the rest of them. Now finally, the Touareg's got it as well. So new family face, new sort of super sharp edges down the side, and you come around the back here and we've got the new tail lights and tailgate as well. Now those wheels, you aren't going to get those wheels in Australia with those tyres. These are 18-inch wheels and big chunky 60 profile tyres. They've been perfect for this, and I actually think they're kind of perfect for the Touareg as well. They match its sort of tough look. In Australia you're going to get bigger wheels and lower profile tyres. Yep, more blingy. Boot size has increased. It's now 810 litres. Fantastic. We have chucked all our stuff in here. We've got a full-size all-terrain wheel for just in case we needed it, but all our gear for like the past 7 days for 2 people have gone into there. Brilliant. Check out this little function. We're not going to get this in Australia. This is the auto tow bar, and it folds out here just like this. It's quite nifty. Woo! We're not going to get that in Australia. Well, it doesn't quite meet some of the regulations which we have, which is a bit silly, I reckon. But we'll be still getting a tow bar, but it'll look different to that one. Also, something we won't be getting are these doors. There's soft shut doors. So if you don't shut them completely properly, like that, they go amazing. If you didn't see that, I'll do that again. Could do that all day. Now, one of the reasons why the boot is bigger is because the second row now slides forward on rails. The last one didn't do that. So the second row does this. Where's the rail? So it slides forward. That gives you a bigger boot space. Now, legroom in the back, really, really good. Now, left-hand drive car, so this is my driving position, and check that out. That's outstanding, and headroom is good too. I'm 191 centimeters tall, and that's a lot. Nice opening to get out as well. Now, it's a 5-seater car, not a 7-seater car, all right? Just so you know. Let's have a look inside. I've got to show you the interior because the interior in the last one was looking so ancient. This one looks so space age. Come inside, let's have a look. Check out this interior. It is amazing. It's so space age. You've got a 15-inch screen over here for your nav and your media, and you've got a virtual instrument cluster over here. It's amazing. Now, this won't come standard in Australia. Coming standard in Australia will be like a 9.2-inch screen over here and regular analog dials over there. But you can option this as part of it's called the InnoVision package, and it comes with that screen, that cluster, and also a head-up display. It's amazing. And what it does, it takes all the buttons away and just makes this space-age minimalist cockpit. The regular cockpit still looks amazing, but this is stunning. Cool, let's jump out. So just from the start, the new Touareg is a bit longer, it's a little bit narrower, and it's also a little bit shorter in height than the previous one. Now the dimensions, because you've got to make sure it fits in your garage, right? Our test car is the 210 TDI. It has a 3-litre turbo diesel V6 making 210 kilowatts and 600 Newton meters. And along with that fancy screen, it's fitted with a stack of other options as well, like the 4-wheel steering and air suspension. If you want to find out how I get to the score at the end of this video, just go to carsguide.com.au and you can read my full review there. I'll break it all down into how I got that score. Oh, and hit like and subscribe. You know, you want to subscribe, don't you? All right. This is our final day now. We're going back to Marrakesh, which lies beyond those mountains, the Atlas Mountains. Let's go. On the road back to Marrakesh, we're weaving our way right now through the Atlas Mountains, and they are seriously, seriously incredible. Earlier this morning, we did a creek crossing and stopped at a 500-year-old fort called Eight Badou. Went for a little visit, bought a fossil, and got back in the cars again, and we're on our way again. We're running a little bit behind time, but it's fine because these roads are really good and we can actually move along at quite a good speed. Now, we already know that the Touareg is quite capable off the road. We've been through the goddamn Sahara in it, and that creek crossing, and you know, other bits and pieces which you just probably wouldn't be able to get a regular car through at all. But it's actually on the road that the Touareg shines, really. And that's because the new generation Touareg is actually built on the MLB platform, and that's the same platform that the Lamborghini Urus is built on, that the Bentley Bentagya is built on, that the Porsche Cayenne is built on. And what that means is you've got an SUV that handles superbly for a whole lot less money. Now, the ride is also absolutely superb. Now, this car that we're in at the moment has the optional air suspension, and that just makes things even better. Now, this is a big feeling SUV. It's not giant, but there seems to be an enormous distance between myself here and the front right-hand corner of the bonnet. That's got a big, broad bonnet stretching out in front of you. The thing is, though, there's such a good connection between the driver, the car, and the road that you can actually feel where each wheel is placed, where each tyre is placed. So as you come up, the road may seem quite narrow, but you can really plant yourself confidently so you know exactly where you are. It feels very sure-footed. Steering is excellent. It's accurate, it's well weighted, and pedal feel is fantastic as well. Like, the brake pedal doesn't feel too high. I'm not bumping into it when I need to get onto it. They're just right. Now, the car that we're driving has the 210 kilowatt engine, and it's a beauty. It has absolutely no issues at all with pulling this 2-ton plus SUV along. It does a brilliant job of it. Where there are some issues, though, are with a bit of turbo lag. Yep, there's turbo lag. Not a lot, but just enough. Just enough to get on my nerves a little bit. Also getting on my nerves a little bit, and there aren't many things, this is pretty good. Also getting on my nerves, though, is the ZF 8-speed auto transmission. Now, I didn't think I'd ever say that because I love that transmission. The only issue with it is that it wants to change up really quickly. It wants to change up to save fuel, basically, which is good, but when you want a bit of sporty driving, you just don't want it changing up a gear while you're midway through a corner or something like that. But there is a solution, and that is sport mode, and with it shifted into manual. You use the paddle shifts to change gears, and that's when it becomes a bit of a beast, and it won't shift up on you. Those brakes are good. On the other side of the Atlas Mountains, the roads turned vicious. The Chicka Pass is one of the most dangerous roads in the world, and as you come down from the mountains, not only does the road turn to dirt in places, but the locals drive it as though there's a prize for the person who gets to the bottom first. That road leads down into Marrakesh, and as the boulevards open up before us, the streets which seemed really alien when we set out at the start of this trip suddenly seemed really welcoming. We were home. We are now back in Marrakesh. It's the end of day 4, and this has been probably one of the most amazing first drives that I've ever done. The Volkswagen Touareg has performed absolutely beautifully. We've been to the Sahara, we've been across the Atlas Mountains, we've met amazing people, we've seen ancient towns and cities, and now we've got to say goodbye to the Touareg. The next time we'll see it will be in Australia, and we'll really know what it's like to drive on local roads. So stay tuned for that. See ya.